Afternoon, folks. Hope you're all well. Welcome to the Leeds View for the instant match reaction for Leeds United 1, Manchester United 1. An unusual game in a lot of ways. Two sides that kind of cancelled each other out. I suppose the key takeaway is Leeds absolutely don't look out of place in this Premier League at all and continue to stretch that unbeaten run now to 7 games, 8 points clear of the relegation zone. It's the disappointment, I suppose, is that we didn't maintain the lead as long as we did. And that goal was probably a little bit preventable. But I think Manchester United will probably say the goal that they conceded was very preventable as well. Two similar goals in a lot of ways, but it's still a very competitive performance by Leeds United. It's a point against one of the quote unquote big six, and I hate saying it out loud, but that's how you have to say it. It is what it is, I suppose. But Leeds very much in that game for long parts of it and had a right go towards the end as well. Daniel Farke's system, his change of system, his team sheet, the changes he made were all very proactive changes and decisions that he made. So at no point did it look like Leeds were going to sit back. I thought we probably started a little bit slow, but we grew into the game. We finished probably the better side come the last 5 or 10 minutes of the match as well. For those listening on the audio platforms, you won't hear the comments section when we get to that. And if you're watching live now, we will do your comments towards the second half of this. We'll get the initial overview incidents in the game out of the way. If you're listening on audio, if you could give us a channel rating, that would be great. And if you're watching on YouTube live or on demand, if you could give us a like. And if you're watching on demand, give us a hype and subscribe to the channel if you want to for daily Leeds news as we head into the transfer window, of which Leeds will still, by the looks of today, need to do a little bit of business. We might talk a little bit about that towards the back end of the video. But from an overview perspective, it's a point against a traditional big side in the Premier League. They're not at their best. It's not their strongest lineup. Their bench was pretty weak as well. Leeds probably had a stronger bench coming into the game than them. It was going to be interesting to see what Daniel Farke did system-wise, and he went with the 3-4-3 or the 3-4-2-1 with Brendan Aronson and Noah Okafor playing off DCL. Some decent performances for players. Some of the players took a few minutes to grow into the game a little bit. Some shaky moments at the start. We'll go through each of the different areas of the park a little bit. I thought Brendan Aronson for Leeds was very, very good. Again, took his goal incredibly well. A goal that comes out of absolutely nothing. Pascal Struijk gets an assist in the Premier League for a ball forward that he looked at his boots for after he hit it. Very much just a clearance, and Brendan does a lot of work there to get in ahead of the defender and put the ball into the bottom corner. And then you're hoping Leeds can just settle, get hold of the ball, calm the game down a little bit and try and build again. And then let's say again, a kind of a nothing ball into space for Cunha to run after and Bornau and Bial both make a run after. And I think, being honest, I think Bornau has it covered. I don't think Lucas Perry needs to come for that ball, but he does come and he leaves the space. And Cunha is a good player. He had a very good game, Cunha, and he finds that bottom right-hand corner for Leeds. I think if Lucas Perry stays where he is, I don't think they score in that situation. Not to say they wouldn't score in a different situation, but I don't think they would have scored in that place. And Leeds only keeping the lead for 5 minutes, which was a bit of a disappointment. But again, it is what it is. The goal, I suppose, gave us that buffer. They had chances. They had plenty of chances. Both sides hitting the post. They had a pretty easy chance in the second half that Sesko missed. Dominic Calvert-Lewin with a wonderful header in the first half for Leeds United, which hit the post. And Lucas Perry, to his credit, to balance out the Lucas Perry comments, makes a phenomenal save from a Euro header in the first half. After the initial header sent him one direction, and then Euro flicks it back the other way, and he gets across and makes an excellent save. But the decision-making maybe to come for the goal probably didn't need to be made. Probably could have done just staying exactly where he was. But as it finishes, Leeds 1, Manchester United 1. Going into the last 4 or 5 minutes, I think I would have taken the point at that point. But then Senior Leeds absolutely went for it in the last couple of minutes. And again, Daniel Farke making brave decisions, bringing Joe Pirou on as number 10 behind the three strikers of Lucas Mecha, Willie Gnonto and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin had a quite enough game today by his own standards, but I don't think Leeds really played to put pressure on that back three today. I think we could have done an awful lot more. That's a pretty inexperienced backline of having Yoro and Martinez. Martinez on the left-hand side of it. But I think Leeds could have maybe gone with two up top today. You could have gone with Mechin. You could have gone with DCL as a 2 and been more direct and put a lot more pressure on them. The first half as well, shooting into the sun when it was in their eyes. Probably didn't put enough balls on top of them, but still reasonably happy with a point. Not going to complain about Leeds remaining unbeaten in 7 matches. That's really important. People will say it's too many draws. We are looking like the draw specialist. You still need to get 9 or 10 draws a season to stay in the Premier League. But those draws do add up over the course of a season. We're still chipping away and adding points. We're now 8 points away from the bottom three, which makes it more difficult for the West Hams. We're 4 points ahead of Nottingham Forest. That's 2 results now for them. So it's important to just keep chipping away at those points. Your wins will come. And then all of a sudden, those draws become incredibly important. When you look at the sides around us losing games, yeah, there's an awful lot there. We'll go through the main stuff, but just to give you the overview stuff, kind of my thoughts on the start to finish of the game. The initial talking point of the game was obviously the system. He went with a 3-4-3. A lot of youth on the bench. Sean Longstaff getting back on the bench. Obviously Leeds without Jayden Bogle, without Joe Rodon, and without Ethan Ampadu. And I think that's important to say because we might not be overly happy with a draw, but we're missing 3 incredibly important players. I think Jayden Bogle's absence today was notable. James Justin is a good defender, but he maybe doesn't have the speed and pace to just get to those little 50-50s that Bogle gets to, the crossing ability Bogle has. Ethan Ampadu was missing in the middle of the park for me, absolutely, today, especially in the early parts of the game when Leeds were a little bit slow to get into the game, I think. I think the first 15 minutes, we probably could have been a bit sharper than we were. I think the midfield took its time to grow into it. I thought they did some very good things to the defensive midfielders and some things they could have done better in the first half, but I thought they both had a very good game come the end of it. We'll get to that in more detail. The decision up front to go with Aronson and Okafor, it worked quite well against Crystal Palace, but I don't think we played the type of football up to Dominic Calvert-Lewin for them to get the most out of it. They showed moments in the first half where they could get at them. Brendan Aronson was absolutely everywhere across that back three, winning the ball back for Leeds, winning tackles, and trying to get Leeds in the front foot as well and gets his goal. The midfield too is an interesting conversation. So we start off with Anton Stach and Ilya Gruev. So you are missing that more attacking, progressive player. And for me in the first half, the two of them just sat a bit deep. Now, it's a double-edged sword here. It's just criticism and praise here in equal measure. The sitting deep meant that Casemiro and Garte got a lot more space in the middle of the park in the first half and were able to take their time and find passes, which meant Manchester United, and you can see in the momentum graph below me, had these spells where they had a bit of possession as the away side. But by sitting off a little bit, what they were able to do and did quite well was intercept those passes that they were trying to put through and block passing lanes, which I thought Gruev and Stach did very, very well. As the game went on, I thought Gruev defensively was excellent. Again, he does that kind of simple job of passing the ball 5 yards, winning it back and just passing it a couple of yards. Grand there. Anton Stach, as usual, as I tend to say about him, tends to start games quite slow, but really does grow into games. And by the end of the game, I thought he was absolutely excellent for Leeds United in the second half. Really, really strong. The back line, really good again. Borneo, I thought, again, good game for him. He didn't put a foot wrong on the right-hand side of that back three and was dangerous going forward as well. Like any of the long throws that came into the penalty area, he was causing issues. Jacobial has now dealt with another striker in Benjamin Sesko this season, kept him to very little and bullied him. Won all of his headers, was really, really good. And Pascal Struijk, who I thought was a little bit shaky at the start of the game, first 10, 15 minutes. But then again, as I say, grew into the game and was very, very good. And his long ball forward, rather than a pass, gets Brendan Aronson the finish. But I think if you look at Pascal Struijk's reaction when he kicks that ball forward from the shot from behind the goal, I think it's clear that Pascal Struijk just thought he was clearing the ball because he looks away straight away. Doesn't even look for it. And great work by Aronson. And then the attacking players, as I say, Calvert-Lewin probably a bit quieter today than normal. Okafor, busy when he got the ball, but probably again tries to overdo it at times and gives it away. But that's the kind of the trade-off. You're looking for a player who's going to be a bit more exciting and take chances. They're going to lose the ball at the same time. Brendan Aronson, excellent for me. Absolutely excellent. And his goal comes from nothing. I mean, he's done all the work in there to get in ahead of the defender, get his body across him as well to shield it, to make sure he can't touch him and bring him down. And then it's a beautiful finish with his left foot across the keeper into the corner. And it would have been great if that had been the goal that won the game for Leeds United. But again, I think Borneo and Struijk probably would have covered Cunha. Perry probably should stay where he is. Individual performance-wise, as I say, all very, very good. The subs as well coming on. Nanto was busy, got involved. Tanaka was okay, didn't have a huge amount to do, but won the ball back when he did. Joel Piru, funny enough, probably makes the biggest impact. Has a shot over the crossbar, has a pass through to Mecha as well, and did very well coming off the bench. Lucas Mecha, I don't like him in that left-hand side of the three. I would have rather seen him go up front with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the 10, and put Brendan Aronson in behind him, but we weren't to get that. So where does it leave Leeds now? Well, as I say, we're now, 7 games unbeaten, which is really, really good. It is 3 draws in a row and 4 draws and 1 win from our last 5. But as Daniel Farke calls us, a newly promoted side, I think we would rather have them than defeats. If you look at those versus our rivals, versus Nottingham Forest over the last 4 games, we've added 5 points to their none. You look at West Ham United, 4 defeats and a draw. We've added 7 more points than them. So we are still just pulling away slowly, but pulling away, and it's important. And it does bring us 1 point closer to Bournemouth. And funnily enough, Same goal difference as Bournemouth now on -7, and a superior goal difference to Forest on -14 and West Ham on -20. So it's interesting. It's interesting, as I always say. What it is, just keep adding the points. Just keep tipping along the points, and you'll get your wins. We got Newcastle United away next. Won't be an easy game away, but they're not brilliant either. They're only, what now, 4 points ahead of us. So you never know what's going to happen. They return for Sean Longstaff as well. He's back in the squad. So yeah, so takeaways for me, probably a slow start by Leeds, grew into the game, had their moments, finished the game really strongly. Again, a point's a point. I'm not going to go overly excited because I don't think it's a very good Manchester United side, but you take a point every day of the week. The main incidents, first half wise, there's kind of a chance to both sides. That's really all there is in the first half. Manchester United have the header from Euro, which is a really, really good save by Lucas Perry. And the Anton Stach cross, that's beautifully headed by Dominic Calvert. Just launches himself at the ball and he heads it off the back post and out of play. But as I say, first half I thought Leeds started slow, grew into it, had those 2 chances. Defense was a little bit shaky early on, but got better as the game went on. And then the second half, I mean, there's a load of chances. Leeds have a chance in the 50th minute. Gudmundsson has a throw in, it comes back to him. He has a volley. Keeper saves it, goes in for a corner. Then Man United have a chance. Casemiro outside of his foot, that little bending ball into the penalty area. And Benjamin Sesko should definitely score for Manchester United. He's free in the 6-yard area and heads it wide. Leeds scoring 60 minutes, strokes long ball forward. Aronson finishes. 5 minutes later, Manchester United equalise. 69-minute Leeds have another chance then as well. Another long throw by Leeds, which really are causing other teams an awful lot of problems and a huge benefit to Leeds. But it's a long throw. It's flicked on. Okafor chests it up in the air. Overhead kicks it. Very good save by their goalkeeper. In the 73rd minute then, Man United have a chance. Dorgu gets across the Leeds left, pulls it back for Sesko's in a great position to score and passes the ball wide. And again, if you're a Manchester United fan, you're looking at those 2 chances and thinking they should have scored twice there, and they didn't. Luckily for Leeds, 80th minute, they've got another chance. Cunha hits the outside of the post with a bending shot around the Leeds defence. And at that point, you're thinking, take the point. Just manage this game out and take the point. But then Leeds grew into it again. All of a sudden, Leeds start coming forward again. And they did really, really well. The change of system hadn't really been seen until the 90th minute clicked over. And then we have a chance stacked to Pirro. It's a lovely ball. And Pirro just first time tries to bend it into the far left-hand top corner. And it goes over. There's a couple of moments after that where Leeds maybe should release the ball a bit earlier to Mechit in space. Mechit probably loses the ball on the edge of the penalty area where he should probably do better and picking passes out and keeping the ball alive. Nanto was in space at one point. Mechit was in space at another point. Weren't given the ball by the players. But yeah, it's interesting. The last 5 Leeds were definitely the better side and went for it. And that's positive to see that Leeds are still, even at that point, Leeds are going for it and trying to get the result. And it's a positive mindset rather than just sit back and take the point. And yeah, they're the main kind of call outs from it. This won't be a long video today. This will be pretty short one, I would imagine. But we've got to get stuck into the January transfer window. We can't sit on our hands and think that we're okay. We've got a lot of work still to do. We've got to make sure that we fix the positions. We can't, whatever the money situation is, they can find money down the back of the sofa, find money down the back of the sofa. No problem there. If it's loans, fine. But you do need to add a little bit of quality. We probably arguably could do it another centre-back. We've been linked with the Union Berlin centre-back Doki. Myself and Andrea Russo did the podcast on Friday where he looked at a few of the links. Andrea's got very good knowledge in Italy. He is an Italian journalist as well, so he's a bit more information on what's going on there. Doki would be a very good signing for Leeds United. I still think we need another striker. I think Troy Parris probably difficult to do. They want 26 million. Leeds are looking with a loan, possibly an obligation. They're trying to box a bit clever. The obligation could be a tricky one as well. If you end up going down with a 26 million pound obligation, you could be in trouble as well. So it's going to be an interesting window. Daniel Farke has said it won't be a huge turnaround of players, but that does suggest to me there will be some turnaround in players. So we'll have to wait and see how they get on. But it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. He said more than likely nothing before the FA Cup game against Derby. So you've got Newcastle and Derby, and then maybe Leeds start to get involved and get into the transfer window. So it's going to be interesting. But look, to wrap up today, it's Leeds 1, Manchester United 1. Again, go back to the start of the season and look at the teams that we've got results against. I think we'd have been surprised at a lot of them. It's when we start playing, we're not far away from this now. Once we get Newcastle and Derby out of the way, that's what? There's 2 games in the next 7 days. You've then got Fulham at home. That's a game to target for 3 points. You've Everton away. Given their season, I would take a draw. Arsenal at home, maybe a draw if you can get there. Then you've Forest at home. You're looking to beat them. You're heading towards the end of the season then. So there's still results there for us. We need 9-ish wins. We're on 5. We need 9, 10-ish draws. We're on 7. Heading in the right direction. The goal difference has got a hell of a lot better. We're still above that point per game average. So all going in the right direction. It was important not to lose games. We didn't lose today. We got a point. So we'll take that and we'll move on. Could have been better. Yeah, of course it could have. Could have been worse. Yeah, they hit the post as well. So it is what it is. Draws are always difficult ones to judge, especially against sides like Manchester United, who are fifth in the table, to be fair. You know, you look at that now. Just got narrowly beaten by Aston Villa, narrowly beaten by Manchester City, drew with Liverpool twice, drew at Manchester United, beat Chelsea. That's the top six. It's not bad. It's not bad. We've got to take some positives out of these things. We can't be miserable all the time. But it is what it is. Folks, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Not the worst result for a weekend. I'll be back Monday tomorrow with your Leeds United news and see where we are with the transfer window and what's going on with Leeds. And outside of that, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much, as always, for supporting us. If you could stick a like on the video, that would be fantastic. If you're listening on the audios, if you could give us a star rating, that would also be massively appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later.